My name is Alicia Norman with
Nicole, aka Reapers,
and we are
all fired
up. Today we're going to talk about how Fani Willis has erected barriers today, Monday, in Fulton County, in anticipation of what's going to happen with the investigation and the indictment, the incoming indictment of Donald J. Trump. And I wanted to say, what were you thinking about that? I know you were so excited you decided to do a short.
Yeah, I did a short today. They actually are going to be also closing 4 blocks around the courthouse starting today until the 18th. So my guess is we are going to have some news coming out of Fani Willis sooner than later.
And that's exciting to me too, because we know they've already said that they're going to treat him like any other criminal defendant. No gloves. They're going to give her a mug shot.
I can't wait to see the sheriff in action. And you being from Georgia, I know this is important to you.
Oh, it is. I was extremely upset when the whole thing went down, and you could see, and this is a little reported aspect, there were people flooding different districts that were mostly Black districts, some of them carrying guns. And think about the optics of that. A bunch of people surrounding Black districts saying, we want to make sure this vote is legit. We know what that was all about. It was a dog whistle. The same dog whistle that Rudy Giuliani tried to use with Shay Moss and her daughter. This whole thing that, something's untoward happening with the Black folks and the vote people. So make sure you're there. It's horrible. So, if he tries any of that threatening people mess, Fani ain't going to play.
We're going to have another Alabama boat brawl.
At your Michael's front door.
You seen that? The Alabama boat brawl?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be another one of those. I was like, yes.
So I'm here for it. I just feel like he's skated away his whole life with all the things he's done, the people he's hurt. That's why I'm so glad that E. Jean Carroll, another thing we're going to talk about, that E. Jean Carroll is definitely going after him and bringing the pain. I know that when she won that $5 million, people wondered if she was going to get that money. No, they put that money into a particular type of a trust so that that's why he went after her. He didn't want to release that money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When he did his counterclaim, he had to put that money into a trust. And guess what? She won today. So she gets that money.
Yeah, you told me that, I'd chuckle because I'm like, I'm so glad, because the only thing he cares about in this world is money. And that's the only place you can hurt that man, because it's very difficult. Well, people of the stature of people like Trump, it is extremely difficult to do anything that, like seeing him in jail, okay, you may not get that. But if you can hit him in the wallet, that's an ouchie.
Yeah, that, and also having a very strong Black woman jailing him and treating him like anybody else.
Exactly. Like the other judge, the one in D.C., she's breaking that hurt. And he's already crying and going, I want a venue change. You know what? You can't get a venue change. I'm sorry. That's not how it works.
You trial where you crime.
Exactly. And especially in places like D.C. What he tries to do, and his lawyers, what they try to do, they try to judge shop. They try to go to places where they think they're going to get some favorable outcomes. But
absolutely. That and delay.
Well, think about this. 60 judges, some of them appointed by Trump, decided the election wasn't stolen. So even if they did get a Trump-friendly judge, it doesn't guarantee they're going to get something in their favor, because they still have to go with the evidence. Even Cannon has to go where the evidence leads, and I don't think she's willing to fall on a grenade. She went to law school. She her whole career, whatever decision she makes, this is one of those career-making freaking decisions. It can haunt her for the rest of her life if she does wrong. Is she willing to fall on a grenade for Trump? I don't think so.
Oh, she might have today.
Oh, good Lord! What she do?
She released. She released an answer to some secret, something that Jack Smith had sent over to her, and in her answer, she literally tells Trump that he can, but isn't required to file a 12B2, which is a pretty much a get rid of the case. Oh yeah, go look it up after we're done. It's crazy.
You know what's interesting, because we jumped
it's
on
time for the 11th Circuit as well.
And the thing that is interesting to me is I don't understand these lawyers and these people who are willing to throw a grenade on their careers for Trump. This man is not going to do anything for them. He's not loyal. He expects
they're lucky if they're going to get paid.
Yeah, it's like they don't even get paid. I'm like, I hope they're getting at least their lunches comped, because that's all they're going to get.
I'm telling you. And then this new lawyer for the DC case, like watching him on NBC last night, just he had every excuse every time the newscaster was like, well, no, that's against the law, and no, Pence said this. And I'm just like, what do they think is going to happen when they do this in front of a judge?
Right. And then you've got, what's his name, John Eastman, talking about, well, yeah, we did that stuff. Was it illegal? Yes.
Yeah. That's why you're one of the unindicted co-conspirators, because it was illegal.
Yes. It was illegal for the electors in Michigan to do what they did. It's illegal for what he did when he started trying to incite insurrections because he didn't want to leave. He did a lot of things that are illegal. I am sick of seeing people, Trump supporters, in the comments going, he's getting chastised, he's getting roasted because of his free speech.
Yeah, no, that is not your free speech. It has nothing to do with free speech.
Right, he could freely say all day long, I think my election was stolen, but until he can prove it, he can't make any moves against it.
Right.
60 judges have said it has not happened. They got fake electors who are getting in trouble in Michigan, and yet this guy is still trying to run around and act like it's a free speech issue, because the disinformation works on their on the sheeple that follow Trump. They don't get real facts. They stay in their bubble. They listen, but here that crap. But here's the thing: it's sort of like I saw real time where a guy was saying that in a like he's getting this is a witch hunt. It's free speech, and we were like, look at the indictment. Here's a link to the indictment. Look at what the indictment says. We didn't hear anything else from that dude. I think they actually aren't looking at the indictment. I think they're not looking at what's really happening. And then when someone with facts says, here's some facts, they're like, ew.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is. Because you can't present stuff that doesn't have evidence. It's not like they're making stuff up and then they just, what did they do? Come up with 80,000 files just out of the blue. There's somebody who's like there's a file fairy in a basement.
Oh my God.
Files
that it delivers only to Rudy Giuliani or to Trump's house.
Exactly. That doesn't even make any sense. Where do they think these files are coming from? For this to be some kind of conspiracy, you'd have to have hundreds of thousands of people working day and night to create all this manufactured evidence. And none of these people have ever been caught on camera. It's like when they talk about busloads of immigrants coming in to vote. Okay, we live in a world of cell phones.
Right, where's the evidence? Please show me a video of somebody at the border or somebody illegal voting. Like, they got time to make up lies about everything else and make videos for that. Where's the proof?
And then when they do provide a video, it's something out of context, like with the Shea Moss situation.
Oh, Ruby, you're talking about Miss Ruby and Shea Moss? Yeah. It was a damn, like, junior mint.
Exactly. They know they don't have anything. And so they try to, or that poor dude, what state was it where the young lady, or it was a guy, it was a 2,000 Mules segment.
Oh, God.
And the guy goes to put his wife, his mother, and his own voting into a mailbox.
Because you're allowed to drop off multiples.
Exactly.
Like, different states have different rules.
And the mother was laid up, and the wife was working. So
how you think I get mine done? Like, I'm disabled, so like mine go a different way. Like, either it gets mailed or somebody drops it off for me.
Right. So when you think in terms of that, how are they? It's like they'll try to do something and they're screw it because they have no real facts. All they can do is imply and use innuendo. And then when you have a credulous base that doesn't do any real fact checking and they kind of echo chamber each other, then they see this and they don't see the alternative. And then when you show it to them, either one or two things happen. Either they say, "Oh," and then they go to investigate, and then they go, "Okay, I was misinformed," or they just double down. No, you're just part of it. Are you part of it? You must be part of it.
You got Trump derangement syndrome. Like,
Yeah,
nah, bitch. Nah, B. You got Trump derangement syndrome.
Basically. And then I also want to circle back to when we were talking about E.G. and Carroll and that whole thing with Judge Kaplan, Robert Kaplan, and he basically was like, "Nah, bruh, no, yeah, you're a rapist."
Yeah.
Just because the law, because here's what we know colloquially. We know that when somebody speaks of rape, it's not this super technical aspect that they're talking about in New York.
Correct.
Everybody knows what a rape is. So when she says, "Hey, I was raped," we know what she means.
Right. Technically, it's inserting anything into somebody's private parts is considered rape just because she couldn't tell between his thumb and his little wee-wee. And she had no proof because she couldn't see what was going in there or didn't remember. Remember, guys, this was years ago. I want to say something like 20 years ago. But it's still rape. I mean, speaking from personal experience, it's still.
And what kind of monster does a victory lap on the idea that I'm just a sexual assaulter?
Trump.
I would not even fix my brain or mouth to say that, even if I wanted to save $5 million or save face.
You asked what kind of monster? Trump.
And what kind of people would follow a man who would use that kind of logic?
People who are in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah, he just sexually assaulted her. Oh, I thought he was lying. She was lying. I thought he said he
I thought that he didn't do nothing. He didn't even know her.
Now you got to move the goalposts. Okay, well, he did something. Well, she's so traumatized. Yes, it's traumatizing to be someone who decided to just go buy some stuff in a department store. You meet somebody who you think is decent, who asks you for help. And then, yes, your whole world changes. You realize you live in this extremely dangerous world where anything can happen to you anytime by anybody. How do you ever feel safe?
You don't.
No. And so what he's paying for, he's not paying really, but what he is paying for is the idea that he hurt this woman, that he changed her life forever. He is the cause of that. So there has to be something punitive. I know people hate these huge punitive payouts. I remember watching a video once where a woman who lost her job and it was based on race. She had a video proving that a guy was using the N-word at her. She got a huge settlement. Now the guy was like, "Well, I sympathize. I don't understand why she was asking for such and such amount of money and why she got that." I'm like, look, the reality is she didn't ask for anything. The law gives you a particular type of punitive damage for types of crimes. And then the jury who saw what happened were able to give her what was required by law for her.
Correct. It's a formulation.
Yeah, so it's just ridiculous. It's people trying to.
That's the difference between, I guess, us and them is because we come with facts and reason, and they just move goalposts and speak in innuendo. That's my only reasoning as to why we are different and why I know I'm on the right side.
But they do that because they understand that most people deal that way. Think about people who love gossip, right? There's no facts when it comes to gossip. It's just, "Girl, I heard this." Right. Or, "Did you read this?"
True.
Or such and such said that. And that works with a majority of people. There's only a small group of people who actually say, like, when I've had people come to me like that, people don't like to tell me stuff because they know that. I'll say, "Well, how do you know that?" "Well, did you talk to the person about that?" And I'm no fun, I guess, because I'm not sitting there spilling the tea and this, but I don't want to believe things about people, especially if I don't know anything about them. I used to have a neighbor who lived across from me, and I was trying to get to know her. She would come over and she would just start telling me stuff. She told me I knew more about people I had never met than my own family. And she's telling me about their drug problems and who cheated on who and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't want to know any of this.
Yeah.
But you got to realize that a lot of people that appeals. It's a Jerry Springer mentality.
It is. It's him giving people permission to be their worst, and
Yes.
people giving themselves permission to accept that, and that's wrong. I have family members who were part of the beginning stages of the Stop the Steal page on Facebook, and it's disheartening because it's somebody that I was very close to.
Yeah.
So, like, you think of those people, I guess, as kind of gone, because until you can either figure out how to have a conversation with them without it becoming political, because I know that the person is still there, like the person still looks, sounds, all that stuff like the same person, but when you mention Trump, it's but you just kind of have to phase out those people until they come to their own conclusion of what's happened.
Yeah, it's like the lasers come out of their eyes. It's like something turns on, you're having a normal conversation, and you say Trump's like, initiate defense, initiate defense. and it's just the strangest thing. And that's why, it's a cult, because I love Biden to death. And I remember watching, it was a podcast I used to love to watch, and he would say things like, man, if Biden one day just decided to post one QAnon meme, I'm out of here, and that's me.
Right, that's me too. If something like that happened with Biden or Kamala or anybody, I'd be done.
Yes, because I'm not going down that rabbit hole. And I think that's the difference. No. Somebody once said that Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line. And I believe that is the truth. We do, but it's just
never heard that.
It's just as easy to fall out of love if somebody is treating you wrong, because that's a normal response. If I fall in love with you and you seem to be great, but you start beating my butt every day, you know what? I'm filing restraining order. I'm getting the heck up out of there.
Yeah, that's so weird. I've never heard that saying before.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
Yeah,
and I think it's true. We have to fall in love. We have to feel passionate about our people. We have to feel like they have something to give that's actually real and true. That's why I like the saying. Some people go, is that negative towards the Democrats? No, it's not, because we become committed based on what we see and what we know to be true, right? Whereas they just go, well, I'm a Republican, I guess I got to vote Republican. And it doesn't matter what that Republican could blow up the sky. And they're still like, I'm a Republican.
Or the, good old, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah. And that's the way it is. And it's sad. But like I said, that's why I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
Definitely all fired up. I mean, one of the things that come to mind is, why I don't ever see Biden signs and Biden stickers. It's like, because we are not in a cult. Like, we don't have to have these things up when it's not voting season.
Well, it's
even when it is.
All that stuff's performative. Somebody asks, so why did they do that? It's performative. It's sort of like, I'm trying to prove I'm something. But I always tell people, I even told my own daughter this. Anyone who comes up to you and says, girl, I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive guy. I'm so sensitive. Run. That guy ain't sensitive. Anyone who comes to tell you there's something.
That's very true.
It's
but also, I think it's a different time. Kind of like the whole pamphlet thing that we've heard about. Like, this is a different time. We got social media. We don't need all these yard signs and stuff and flags. That's for people who, like you said, fall in line.
Well, in the Biden hat and the Biden paranoia, like I got.
I'm not gonna lie though. I am gonna get that. I like my coffee dark cup.
Yes, I like.
I want to get that so bad.
Yeah, and my thing is, we might do something like that. I had a Maga Tears cup around here that I had.
Oh, I got one too. I got one from this guy named Tommy Campbell. He's the one who originally started that Maga tears thing. It says, like, I forget, it says something about Darwin and Trump supporters on the front, and then it says Maga tears on the back. It's really funny.
Let's see, but that's how we do our thing. I'm not draping my car in Biden paraphernalia. Who does that? That doesn't even make sense. And the fact that they would even ask the question of, well, how come I ain't seen no Biden, had no Biden paraphernalia, showed you how steeped in the cult they are. Like, they think that's normal. They think that's normal.
That's why I said it's a different time now. Like, we don't use those signs. Like, having worked with Justice Democrats as an example, getting Summer Lee elected, helping with Summer Lee, the only people that really asked for, like, the yard signs were, like, the older generation. That I noticed, because I was the one taking care of getting the information put down to get the yard signs sent out for our text team. So, yeah, it definitely, I just think it's something that's phased out for at least Democrats.
Yeah, and see, and that's my thing too, when you think about it. It's sort of like when we live in a polarized time too. Even if I wanted to get a Biden sign, I live in Georgia. I'm in a red burb. I might put that thing out, and the next thing I know, I wake up and there's people with pitchforks outside of my lawn going, so you're for Biden, huh?
I got this really cool, like, LGBT, and it had something to do with Democrats, and I live in a blue state, but my area is kind of red. A little, not, like, horribly. But my husband's like, I don't want a broken window because it does talk about the Democrats. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I stuck it on, like, a binder that I had instead. And I understand, even though being a progressive, I'm always like, but I really want to do it. But I understand. It's, that's the car he drives to work. I can't drive anymore, so that's his car now. It used to be ours, but once I stopped driving it, it's not mine no more.
And as you probably can tell, it is storming over here. That light flickering off and on is like my mind's trying to go out over here. So
no.
I think that we can sort of kind of wrap this up, but this was a lot of fun. I always love talking to you about this stuff because you're so sharp and you know so much. There's times that I feel like I think I know stuff and you're teaching me stuff because she's on it every dang day. So
sister from another mister right there.
So, girl, we will wrap this up and then we will stay. And then we ask all of you guys out there to stay fired up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Write your congressman. And Nicole, she knows a little bit more about a lot of that than I do. So tell them about, how they can get involved politically in their area.
Absolutely. Comment down below, and we'll, if you have any questions about it, I will definitely point you in the right direction.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. We love y'all. Keep the faith and stay fired up.
Fired up.